Well, happy Sunday. And there are a lot of good things which are happening around. So I thought I would just do one more show on power, politics, and policies. And this is going to be a global show where we have people joining from US, people joining Central Standard Time, people joining EST time, and then if you are in India, it's 8:30 p.m. Sunday night. So thank you very much for joining my show. Well, today I tell you the reason we are doing this show is because we know President-elect Donald Trump, he is set to assume office for the next 4 years. And in my view, this development holds profound implications, not only for America, but also for India and the global community. For the Indian diaspora, particularly non-resident Indians, we NRIs, this political shift prompts a range of emotions and considerations. Many Indian Americans have lauded Trump's victory, although a lot of Indians, their vote was split between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. But finally, with his victory, it expresses the optimism about potential benefits for the economy, border security, and global peace. And we will come to that point why global peace I'm mentioning that. They believe Trump's rapport with Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, it will strengthen India-US relationship. Not only that, it will also bring global peace, an end to the two wars we are seeing and we are facing soon. And his administration will prioritize shared values and global harmony. So, in that context, I decided to have a show with our favorite Dr. Bharat Barai. He has already arrived in the studios. And we are going to talk about, in that Indian context, Trump's presidency, how it could influence various sectors, including trade, immigration, defense, and an alignment with our PM, Mr. Modi. By the way, Mr. Modi, another victory, Maharashtra, the financial capital of India, BJP has won that. And the bipolar elections, I'm going to talk about that, how BJP was able to secure winning seats there. And with the alignment with the Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump, we see a lot of opportunity. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to invite my friend Dr. Bharat Barai on the show in the stage. Hello, Dr. Bharat Barai. How are you doing?
Good. Namaste.
Fantastic. Namaste. Good to see you again. Did you lose some weight? Looks
Yes.
like it.
Yes.
So we would have a show. How did you lose some weight? That's a lot of good.
Restrict your diet. That was the main thing. I don't get as much time as I would wish on the exercise, though after this show, I'm going to go down to the basement and lose some calories.
Wow.
Many times we don't realize we keep on eating, but how much exercise or some sort of physical activity besides the basal consumption of calories it takes. So restricting your diet is probably very
The
much
best way.
contributory in trying to lose, and it's a better option.
It is a better option. I realized. So what I did is after moving here, I hired a trainer. And instead of going to the public gyms, because in India, still the gym facility is not as clean and as hygienic as we have in US. Although there are beautiful gyms around there, but so in the same cost probably, and that is the cost advantage between India and US. Like if you spend probably $200 a month, you can get a trainer who comes and trains you at your home. So this is a great advantage these days,
So
and it can really keep.
combination of restricting your calories. Actually, what
Yes.
I developed the habit now, every time I eat, I try to count my calories. How many calories did I eat? And
Wow. So you know exactly like how much calorie like a roti has. Tell me.
yes, about 70 calories, depending upon how thick the roti is. It could be as
But
less as 40 calories, and a thicker roti 70, and even thicker roti maybe 100, calories. A small puri about 70 to 80 calories, and
wow.
yes,
And
bigger.
it does it matter like if it has a ghee on it? Ghee is
Ghee
about
is
what?
an ghee is an absolute no-no. I
Wow.
mean, any kind of fat.
Hmm.
The question, Kunal, many people ask me, how come so many young people in India are dying of heart attacks nowadays?
Yes. And ghee is contributing to it.
Let me tell you, as a doctor,
Yeah.
our diet and not taking care of yourself. I know one of the famous Indian politician in Chicago
Yeah.
recently, he brought his and his wife's health reports to me, just as a doctor, as a friend.
Yeah.
And I was shocked that his wife had a fasting blood sugar of 209.
Wow.
They're both in their 40s, but I
Yeah.
said, this is a no no. Well, she's doing okay. I said, what do you mean she's doing okay? Her blood
Yeah.
sugar is double of what it should be.
Yes.
And there was really, he didn't think much of it. But when this goes on, then we did rest of her blood work and we found that her vitamin D level was very low, and low level of vitamin D expose or increase the chances of developing colon cancer and breast cancer.
Wow.
Her uh, cholesterol was kind of somewhat low, but her iron level was low. She was anemic. Now, she's the wife of a diplomat. I mean, goes around and you never think of it. Now,
Yeah.
of course, I say, all these things need to be fixed and made appropriate referral. The point being, so that is one part where people don't get themselves checked in a regular fashion till they get into trouble. Second thing, the role of ghee, butter, and paneer. Especially, I'm spooked at paneer. Now, I'm a vegetarian myself,
Right.
but really speaking, we are not true vegetarians because we consume animal
Daily.
fat in terms of ghee,
Daily.
butter, paneer, especially mithai at Diwali time. Mithai is mostly made out of mawa, and mawa is fat, animal fat.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that butter is 100% cholesterol, ghee is cholesterol. Paneer, if at least in USA, it is compulsory to write the nutritional value on the back.
Right.
If you go and buy a packet of paneer, I said, I'll start eating paneer once low fat or no fat paneer is available. But the
Mhm.
paneer that is available now, and I'll give you example, Nanak paneer, with my wife brought a packet. I said, read at the back, 24% fat,
But
saturated fat. So now
yeah.
you are wondering why 42 and 39 people die of heart attack. If they go and get their blood work done and check their cholesterol, check their triglyceride. This particular woman I'm talking about, her triglyceride was 839, five times that of normal.
And I
So,
tell you, a lot of people become so passionate about this, and they say, "Oh, Baba Ramdev says ghee is good, ghee is good," and they are just arguing without any logic, and they are very passionate about this. Like for them, ghee is like a patriotism kind of. Ghee comes from cow milk, and it's
hey,
very hard to break that argument.
cow milk may have lower fat than a buffalo milk,
Correct,
granted, but
but
that
it
doesn't
is still
mean that qualitatively. So quantitatively, the saturated fat might be low in the cow ghee,
right.
but qualitatively, cow ghee,
Still bad.
buffalo ghee, they have the same saturated fatty contents.
I
So
tell
that
you,
is, many of the senior citizens show, they ask me in Chicago,
yes,
same question, what about ghee? I say, use
yes,
the ghee for doing a diya.
that is true.
Use too much. Use ghee for
Burn it.
diya. And
Burn it for
especially
your
at Diwali
spiritual
time.
purposes.
Yeah, Diwali time, diya is a good thing.
Diya is a
Burn
good
your
thing.
fat
Or
red
every day
diya.
when you go in your puja ghar, you can put a ghee diya. No problem.
But paneer,
This
I
is
think, has become so much like, you have to have paneer. I think paneer, unless they
it's
come up
more
with a
deadly.
way to make low fat paneer or no fat paneer, yes,
Tofu,
paneer does.
tofu is a good replacement. Tofu is a good replacement.
Yeah.
Tofu may be a better replacement. Well, we had a great start. That means today we talk about some health things. So this is a very good. Well, congratulations for first of all. I think the election results came out in India, and they are very positive, very progressive. What I feel, and I hope you also feel the same way, that not only for India but even in a global context, it's going to impact. Even the upcoming our president-elect Donald Trump's administration in U.S. So tell me, what do you think about it? Because now we have got, I mean, uh, situation for at a global level very clear what's going to happen even in India for next 4 years, and especially the financial capital Mumbai and Maharashtra, where it was like
So let me comment first on the results in Maharashtra. I think I always support when any administration, any party is non-corrupt, works for benefit of all the people, and is a nationalist which cares for the country.
country
Like Modi ji says, nation first, country
nation.
first.
Mhm.
Then comes the party. Then comes your family, and cares for the basic needs for all the people, how to bring the living standard up of all the citizens. Now, when you apply this litmus test, which party comes the closest? And there is no question BJP. It's
Correct.
a nationalist party. It cares for India first. Second, people, no matter how much Rahul Gandhi keeps on saying Adani, Ambani, look at it, what Modi ji has done in last 10 years for the common people of India. Kunal, I used to say, why did it take 75 years for somebody to recognize that somebody needs a little house or a flat to live? You need a toilet in your house. You need cooking gas or some sort of non polluting type of cooking. You need clean pipe water to your house. You need electricity to your house. All this garibi hatao that went on
What
before.
slogans? They were all slogans.
I
So
mean,
now, so this is, yeah, I was telling, so we had all of this discussion in our previous show. So I'm going to tonight, I'm very excited about what we are going to do with in the context of how Trump is going to see all of this, because I really wanted to know from you, because moving forward, both are winners. Trump is a winner. Modi looks like is absolutely clear winner. 75% of India is in his control. How do you see that happening now next 4 years? Because that's where the real action lies. I really wanted to read your mind in that context.
Donald Trump, I personally, and I'm a little guy, don't agree with everything. But in the contest, if there are two candidates, you have package A and package B. There is no Barai package for me to vote. So I don't like his stand about gun control
Correct.
because gun control is necessary. Granted that there are many people who live in rural areas of USA, there are no police stations nearby, and they do need the guns to protect themselves, like a farmer. There are many
Correct.
farmers who live in the rural
Correct.
area where there is
Correct.
no police or anything for maybe 50 miles. And if somebody comes to loot him or attack him, how does he protect? So he needs a gun. But the punks in the cities of Chicago and New York, they don't need these guns.
Correct.
So a sensible gun control is necessary, and hopefully that will comply with the uh, Second Amendment. The second thing is the right of women about reproductive life. you may or may not agree with abortion, but it should be left to the individual woman.
That's how you think.
Yes, that's what I
Yes.
think. So those are the two areas largely where I think different than Republican Party. The third thing, which now Republican Party has erased, previously people used to think that they are racist, they are party of only whites, and they discriminate against blacks and people of color. That might have been true many years ago, and it was a Christian party. But I think Republican Party has realized that there are many, many smart people of
Yes.
color,
People of color.
especially the Indians.
Yes.
They also realize that democracy is a number of games. And if they keep on making it a Christian party only or white party only, then it's not going to work. So
Correct.
there has been substantial movement by the Republican Party. And I can tell you that how many people have approached me. By the way, I should tell you that I am an independent,
Okay, you are an independent.
Republican
Fantastic.
or a Democrat. But the reason is, Kunal, I look at more as acting on behalf of Indian Americans. We are still a minority, about 1.5% in USA. And if I want to represent the case, actually for Indian Americans, if I call myself Republican, Democrats won't listen to me. But if I call Democrat Republicans, so it is best that I
To
keep
stay neutral and a
neutral
cause
state
based.
based on the cause of Indian Americans.
Exactly. That's what I think that, we carry a balance between our homeland and our motherland
And try to represent for better relationship between
between
India
both.
and USA, which will
Correct.
be of benefit to both the countries. So
Correct.
when you have that, many people ask me that. I say, no, I get along well with Democrats. I get along well with Republicans. I do
Mm,
contribute to both, but not to the parties.
correct.
I contribute to the individual candidates based
Candidate
on their
and their
merit.
causes. Exactly.
Yeah, who is a good candidate, who will be beneficial to the people, because ultimately I also have to look at the future of my children and my
Correct.
grandchildren. I don't want
So I have
somebody.
I have a very this is like a very controversial question, and every Indian, and especially in US and even in India, they think for some reason Kamala Harris is utilizing her Indian genes for the benefit of getting votes, but she does not have any good affinity with Indians, or she may not work in the alignment with Mr. Modi or with India. How truthful is this? Like, what's the real story behind this controversy?
The real story is
Hmm.
she has very poorly, if at all, used her connection or her Indian genes for her
Mhm.
benefit. I can
She
tell you
has poorly connected. Okay.
very, she has not tried to do it at all. That is one of the biggest complaint I am hearing, that even though she is of Indian origin, at least half,
Mhm.
she has not tried to connect to the Indian Americans at all in this election. Before
But
she,
the previous one, last time when she became VP, she used it massively. She got all the votes at that time. People voted.
because it was more of a one-sided love story where
Correct.
Indian Americans felt, she is of Indian origin, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and we should support her. For example, when she was running for Senate from
Uh-huh.
California, she did come for collecting money from Indian Americans. Now you can say she is running from California. Why
Right.
does she want to come to Chicago and collect the
Right.
money?
Right.
Or US, as a US vice president, she came to Chicago, and I attended one of her
Yeah.
fundraisers.
Fundraiser.
But in presidential election, she has hardly tried to reach out to Indian Americans or Hindu Americans. I tell you, in
Wow. Is there
2005,
any reason for that, or
I don't
she
know
wanted to prove a point?
whether she took it for granted that all Indian Americans will support
Well,
her,
just support her
or
because of the color. Yeah.
interestingly, in Michigan, just a month before election, she reached out to Muslim Americans because she
Hmm.
thought that that will make a difference in the votes. But there is not one single state where she reached out to Indian Americans or
Right.
Hindu Americans. And
Right.
there are more Hindu American votes in USA than there are Muslim American votes. There are
Yeah.
more Hindu votes than there are Pakistani votes. And yet
Correct.
she made no effort. Now maybe she just took it for granted.
Yeah, she thought that because of the last time, this time also, people would just turn up, just like casteism in India, or people like that. But that's not happening this time. I see this is a huge change, which
Kunal, not only that, we had a lot of complaints about the behavior of Democratic Party, even though I know President Biden going back
right,
almost 20 years, and
right,
he was a centrist. He is a centrist who had at least good feelings about India, though I don't know all the people under him.
right.
They did a lot of mischief against India. To give example, in year 2000, there was a Muslim page in Biden campaign. And we said, okay, fair enough. Why not a Hindu page also? We never got
Yes,
it.
yes, I remember that controversy. Yeah,
We
the
never got
whole
it.
yes,
Then in that campaign documents, they made mention about Kashmir and human rights, about CAA, and we said, remove this. There is no business bringing it
yeah,
up in U.S. election. What does U.S. election have to do with CAA about Kashmir?
correct, correct.
It never got removed, and I tell you that has hurt. That has been it has been a sore point with many Indian Americans. But let me tell you the two biggest sore points that came, and I can tell you, in my best estimation, Trump got almost a million Hindu votes in this
Votes.
election.
Wow. Is it
Seven,
because of Vivek Ramaswamy?
no,
Is
because
it
of,
because
no, I tell you two big reasons.
Mhm.
One, we had been trying a lot, both with the Biden administration, to speak out about atrocities against Bangladeshi Hindus.
And what
When
happened?
4 or 5 Muslims were lynched in India
Yes,
in 10 years' time, they talk about human rights, they talk about atrocities. They, the US Commission for International Religious Freedom goes out, criticizes India, and yet almost 300 Hindus were killed in Bangladesh. More than 100 Hindu mandirs were desecrated. So
yeah.
many Durga Puja
In
pandals.
last 1 year, this all happened in last 1.5 1 year.
And yet, US administration has not spoken out a word about it. Not only that, there were efforts made. Two of the top fundraisers for Democratic Party, Ramesh Kapoor and Ajay Bhutoria Jain, they both are
Yes,
my
Aditya
yeah,
Bhattacharya.
they
Yes, I
both
know
are
him.
my very good friends.
He should be listening this podcast. I can tell you today. He's
Yeah.
listening. Aditya
Well,
Bhattacharya.
then Ajay can listen it.
Yes.
So I talked to them personally, and many other Indian Americans talked to both of them, and
Mhm.
both of them agreed with the feeling that
Correct.
yes, Democratic Party should say, and to complement both of them, they did use whatever they could
But
to
it didn't
convey
happen.
message that please, speak out about atrocities against Hindus in Bangladesh. Guess what?
Right.
Not a
Nothing.
single word came from either President Biden or Kamala Harris or anybody else in the administration. Same effort was made with President Trump.
Right.
Actually, the original plan was Trump was invited to visit uh, Bob's Temple in Atlanta. Then there was going to be a rally next door, which Tulsi Gabbard was going to
Yes.
host.
Yes.
And it was going to be a Diwali celebration to be
Yeah.
attended by thousands of people. And at that rally, Trump was going to speak out about atrocities against Bangladeshi Hindus.
Right.
They called Tulsi Gabbard, coincidentally or more than coincidentally, to serve in the National Guard. Now remember, Tulsi Gabbard has been serving in US Army for
Correct. For
many
long.
years. She is
Many
actually
years.
a lieutenant colonel.
Yes.
So it was kind of more than coincidence that right during when she was actively campaigning for Donald Trump, she was called out, so
Yeah.
she could not campaign. And the
Yeah.
whole idea about having a
Hmm.
Diwali celebration fell through. But then we said, nonetheless, at least Trump can issue a statement, which he did, in
Yeah.
favor of Bangladeshi Hindus. But
Yeah.
look, Kunal, coincidentally, or more than that, in the same statement, he also mentioned about his great friendship with Prime Minister Modi.
That was very good, actually. Yeah, he
You
did.
know, that was very smart.
Very smart.
He knows that 80% or more Indian
They love
Americans are
they
fans
love
of
Modi.
Narendra Modi. And by
Yeah, but
mentioning Narendra Modi very favorably, anyway, people were leaning
he
to.
also mentioned that he's going to meet Mr. Modi in his trip to New York, but I don't think so. He met.
No, it is true that he stated that. In fact, he stated in a personal phone call
Correct.
to one of the Hindu American doctors in Atlanta, who is my friend, and she told me that President Trump called her and said that he is going to meet Narendra Modi. And I know there was talk about, and he himself said publicly that he is going to meet.
He did. That's what I remember. Yeah.
And we are thinking that on that Sunday, after finishing the show in uh, Nassau County Coliseum, he was going to meet, but that did not happen. And I don't know why it did not
Yeah.
happen.
Just because he was not a sitting, and then Mr. Modi also probably think this will trigger another controversy. Nobody knows the outcome, what will happen in
No,
the
if
election.
he met, he would have had to meet both of them, Kamala
Both of
Harris
them. Yes.
and yeah, Kamala Harris as well as Donald Trump. Otherwise, it would have looked very bad.
Correct.
So it's also
From
possible that
diplomatic perspective,
it's also
yes.
possible that Kamala Harris it did not fit in her schedule. Then he might have decided if he could not meet Kamala Harris, he should not meet Donald Trump either.
Right.
But I don't
No,
know
no,
what
that's
exactly is the background why it did not happen.
right. So now, so do you think the relationship, this is good for America and as well as in India, for Indian NRIs, that Donald Trump came into the power, he's the new president elect, and he is taking a lot of help. And especially I wanted to talk to you about, have you heard of this name, Doge, DOGE?
Yes,
You know what it is?
God means
The new idea, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they are like
see actually
fostering
DOG stands for Department of Government
government
Efficiency,
efficiency.
DOGE.
Right. And
And
their thought process is that the government should be run now by entrepreneurs, not politicians.
look,
And they are kind of weakening that entire thought process.
Kunal,
But
there is a lot of bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. You think that bureaucracy exists only in India?
no,
No,
no, no, I
it
know.
exists even in USA.
Yeah,
When President Obama became president, he
yeah,
started a lot of hiring. The only thing that was growing was government servants in
right.
Washington, D.C. There is a big, fat bureaucracy. So anybody like Elon Musk or
Yeah,
Vivek Ramaswamy, both of them are very successful entrepreneurs.
right.
They are going to try to straighten out, cut down the bureaucracy, cut down the regulation. That's what Narendra Modi did. So many regulations were existing on paper and they were totally either unnecessary,
Correct.
they were not serving any purpose. And remember, at this,
India needs Dodge more than US, I can tell you. In India, they need that more.
why does anybody want to take government job in India? Two reasons. It is like
Corruption
guaranteed till you
or
retire,
stability.
guaranteed pension, and third, corruption.
Corruption, that's what I'm saying. Guaranteed
If
money.
you are in government position, I don't want to say that everybody is corrupt, but
Most people.
that gives you an opportunity to extract money from people. You want this certificate, pay me this much money. You want this, you
Yeah,
pay me this much money.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So you think it's a good thing that let entrepreneurs run some of the efficiencies, and which is good for even for India and the Indians, because Indians are all about efficiency. Like our generation, our people, I mean, NRIs, they work very hard. That's one of the reasons I feel that Indians are very successful in America,
Yeah.
right?
Even when we hire the doctors, what we
Yeah,
try to say is if we can get a first generation immigrant,
right.
they will work
It's the
much
best,
harder.
right?
Now, my own children and one of my daughter is a doctor, and
Yeah,
there are second generation Indian Americans.
right.
I think the mutation occurs where they don't want to work as hard.
Yeah.
They become Americanized and want to work only 6 to 8 hours. So
Right.
believe it or not, I have to tell you an interesting story. My father, who has passed away, he was
Mm.
manager of a large department in Gujarat, Baroda.
Yeah.
At many times when there will be advertisement for two positions, almost 400 applications will come. And he was very busy with his work, so he will give me their applications to screen.
It's scrutinized. Yeah.
And what were the two criteria he told me? He
Yeah.
says anybody who has worked for government for 5 years or more,
Yeah.
or for the post office, put their applications aside
Society.
because
I don't
those
want
people
those
don't
people.
want to work and they
Right.
are accustomed to taking kickbacks.
Correct.
And I don't want them.
Right.
And we do the same thing here. Anybody who has worked for a university or
Yeah.
a VA
Research.
hospital in USA, we don't want to hire them because
They're
they
not going
want
to
to work
paycheck.
6 hours a day, go home at 3 p.m. But they
Yeah.
want the money that is generated in a private practice. So they want more
Yes.
money, but they
Yes.
want to work half.
Yeah. That's true. That is true in healthcare. I can tell you this
Yeah.
is. So, how do you see? There was a thought which came to my mind when we were talking about this Dodge. Um, but Trump is seen as like three things which everybody is hoping that Trump is going to do: end the war, and both wars, Ukraine as well as Hamas. And the second is he has a good relationship with Mr. Modi. So now in India, there is a talk that probably India will go after Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and that would be the next move before Modi retires, maybe in 29. So these are the two big international kind of actions. And of course, third one, we know Bangladesh, what's going on. So we talked about Bangladesh. What do you think about these two things in a context where Trump can play a bigger role, or a relationship between Modi and Trump can play a role in it?
Well, I'll give you my personal views. And Kunal, I'm not representing anybody.
Correct.
I want to
No,
make
we know. Yeah. We both are.
about relationship between Trump and Modi.
Right.
I think there is a good bonhomie. They get along very well as friends. When Modi came here, he received very good reception. And same way when President Trump came to Ahmedabad, I
Yeah.
mean, he came to Delhi also. He received very tumultuous welcome in Narendra Modi Stadium with over 1 lakh people being
Right.
present
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
in Delhi. Some interested vested parties tried to create the riots to make India look bad, and some people got killed in Delhi. You know that.
Yeah. 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 So it happened at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. So those Islamic hardliners, they
Right.
wanted it to look bad, and they created riots in Delhi to coincide with President Trump's visit.
Yeah.
Uh, but they get along well. And I give an example. Beside, the relationship between US and India is now becoming more and more people to people relationship.
Right.
Look, there are 5.5 million Indian Americans in US,
Correct.
including
Especially 4
students.
million votes. Yeah.
Yeah. Number one. Number two, I remember Siddharth Shankar Ray. I'm giving you
Yeah.
a cute story which he told me himself when he was India's ambassador to USA.
Yeah.
He says when he presented his credentials, like all new ambassadors have to do to the president. So President George Bush Sr., he
Yeah.
said, Mr. President, I represent the largest English speaking country in the world, India.
Yeah.
Siddharth Shankar Ray himself told me this.
Yeah.
So we have very good relationship between the people, primarily because we have 5.5 million sons and daughters of India
They
here.
know India is an asset now, as a
Right.
business asset and a professionally and personally both.
Second thing, now they come to know that India is a friendly country that wants to stay friendly with everybody,
Correct.
and USA particularly, both being democracies. Personally, they became friend. And let's get a very sharp contrast. Canada should be in similar situation. Even though Canada is a smaller country with population of 36
Again,
million,
Canada with India or Canada with
Canada and India. I'm giving
Canada?
you
And
contrast.
it's
There are
totally, yeah.
Canada is about 10% of US population.
Yes.
In US, Indian Americans are about 1.5% of population. In
Correct.
Canada, Indian Americans are about 4.5% of population. So there should be great bonhomie between Canada and India. English
But
speaking
yeah,
countries? No, should be. I'm not saying it is.
yeah.
But why it makes a big difference? Even though the physical similarities, cultural similarities, population wise, personality. Trudeau has turned out to be a weird person coming up with all kinds of weird logic. And
Trudeau is half sick, right?
no, he's not
No?
in behavior, yes, but not in.
Why
No.
he is then he's so passionate? Is it a vote bank or what?
Well,
Sick
it is
vote bank?
vote bank. There are some people who always have some weird ideas, but vote bank, yes,
Yeah.
because Trudeau's Liberal Party is in minority. Jagmeet
Oh.
Singh, who is a known Khalistani,
Hmm.
supported his government. He has withdrawn the support, but he has not voted against Liberal Party either. So when the no trust motion came against Prime Minister Trudeau, they abstained. So his government did not go down. Well, let's see what the voters of Canada do in October next year.
Yeah.
But that Jagmeet Singh was a known Khalistani, and when Trudeau came first time before the G20 summit, he tried to invite some Khalistanis for the dinner.
He was there in India when somebody had
Yeah,
to push him out.
correct. So
Yes.
he has behaved in a most
Absurd
senseless
manner.
way when it
Yeah.
comes. And he is so here I'm trying to give you the contrast between two leaders of North American countries.
Correct.
India and Canada should have as close or closer relationship based on the Indian Canadian population in
I'm
Canada.
glad they have no say in UN. Otherwise, it would be a disaster for India. China
And
is already there. Huh?
now he won't have much say with Donald Trump either.
Either, right. So
Look,
that's
under Biden,
yeah.
USA was trying to be supportive of so-called Five Eyes, which maybe there are blind eyes, that when Canada made the allegation, Biden said, oh, it should be investigated seriously. I don't
Yeah.
think Trump would do that because
No.
Trump has the same feeling about Trudeau as a
Yeah.
juvenile that most of people in India have.
Yes.
So Canada is not going to have as sympathetic ears in USA. Now,
Right.
maybe in UK, because now Labour Party is in power, but in my opinion, UK really doesn't count much in the world
No.
affairs now. It's a past colonial power which doesn't carry much weight. France probably doesn't care much. Anyway, France is not part of the Five Eyes.
Yeah.
And Australia and New Zealand, uh, they have good relationship, but really,
Correct.
as
I
compared to
think in UN now India has a very strong with France with the with Donald Trump. India probably will have the best bet to get the UN seat in next few years. I mean,
yeah,
with
if
this,
China, if it's remarkable that China changed its stand in last 60 days,
it
where
does.
they did disengagement with the Indian troops in Himalayas. Prime Minister Modi and President Xi met. Then the two foreign minister met, and then the
Yes,
two defense minister met. I think if China removes the obstacle against India
we
joining
would
the
be.
UN Security Council, there will
Yes,
be expansion, and maybe India, Germany, Japan, Brazil will join UN Security Council as permanent members. Because remember, these
fantastic.
are colonial powers.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
established United Nations and Security Council with membership in 1945,
yeah.
when India was not a member and India was still a colony of Britain. India is the largest country in the world, population wise. India is the
Democratic.
largest democracy.
Yes.
And how in the world these little countries like Britain, they join or they are part of the Security Council's permanent member with
Both France
veto?
and Britain, UK. Yeah,
Yeah. While countries like India, Japan, Germany, Brazil, they are not members of UN Security Council.
correct. I hope to see something good coming out of this, and very. Um, so, what do you think? How Trump is going to take some hard line when it comes to Iran and Israel? What is going to be the stand?
Look, one thing, most people in USA understand the case of Israel, and Trump understands it very much. Kunal
Mm,
realized that this land is an ancestral land of the Jews.
right.
If you go back 4,000 years, those people who know the history or they can read up the history, when Moses migrated, and those who want to see the movie, I think, not, yeah, 10 Commandments, they will be able to see the migration of Moses and Jews from the land of Egypt to so called promised land in Sinai and here. So, this whole area was called the land of Canaan, going back 4,000 years. Now, remember, there was no Islam 4,000 years ago. Islam came into existence 1400 years ago. So, this whole
So is
land,
it so? How is it the similar issue like we have in Kashmir? Like
well, right,
it
people
used to be,
forget
yeah,
Kashmir has been part of
it was a
India.
Hindu
Well, there
state.
was no
Yeah,
India then, it was Bharat. Kashmir
yeah,
has been part of Bharat going back 5,000 years. The
correct.
name
So it's a
Kashmir
similar,
came from
yeah.
Kashyap Rishi.
So that's why Modi and Trump, they are probably on the same page on this issue because they both have the same pain areas, but not in the Ukraine case. Because if you see Russia and Ukraine, is a kind of similar thing where they are fighting for a piece of land, but um, so it's going to be, I don't know, very controversial.
Well, I'll give you my own views on
Yeah,
Ukraine.
yeah,
Number one, Crimea was actually part of Russia,
okay,
okay, for long time. It was Russia that gave Crimea to Ukraine because of physical when Ukraine was part of Soviet Union.
correct.
So Crimea was not part of Ukrainian territory historically.
Hmm.
But because Ukraine was part of Soviet Union, Russia gave it. So I don't know how strong is their claim as far as the Crimea is concerned. Now, I believe that Russia has some legitimate concern about Ukraine joining NATO, but that could have been resolved by strong negotiations. Look at it. In 1962, there was Cuban Missile Crisis. Why did it happen?
Right.
Because Cuba was trying to host Russian nuclear weapons in Cuba. And President Kennedy said, we will not allow adversarial nuclear weapons in our neighborhood. And Russia, Khrushchev backed off. So I think Russia had a legitimate concern that Ukraine should not become a hostile NATO country and should be a neutral country. Now, that could have been resolved by negotiations.
Why didn't the Joe Biden or Obama? Obama has been like very influential. I mean, why they could not resolve it?
Well, I don't know about why they could not resolve it, but I think it was wrong on it. Again, this is my personal view. I'm nobody in politics, but I think what Putin is doing is very wrong. You know, thousands of Ukrainians have been killed. There has been lots of damage to Ukraine. Ukraine has every right to defend itself, and Putin has gotten thousands and thousands of Russian boys also killed. So I think this is a totally unjustified war on part of
Yeah,
Russia.
yeah.
They had legitimate demand about keeping Ukraine neutral, and that probably could be the basis of what happens. But Russia felt that Mr. Yukonovich, I think if I spell his name correctly, he was a pro-Russian president of Ukraine, and he was thrown away by so-called coup, and they are blaming Victoria Nuland, who was the Assistant Secretary of State, just as they are blaming Biden administration and another Assistant Secretary of State in charge of South Asia, Donald Lu, for getting rid of Imran Khan and getting rid of Sheikh Yasina. So now what has happened, Kunal, it is interesting. Previously, the Pakistanis in USA were kind of united, but now they are split. Pro Imran Khan lobby and anti Imran Khan lobby because they think, yeah, that's true.
Within the same, yeah, small country.
Pro Imran Khan lobby openly gave support to Donald Trump. They issued official statement in support of Donald Trump.
Yeah,
And why? Because they said that Biden administration, whether it is right or wrong, I have no way of knowing. This is all heard on the street. We don't know if it's true. They
yeah,
said it was Donald Lu, and this is what Imran Khan alleged, that with the help of Pakistani army and Shabazz Sharif, they overthrew and have jailed Imran Khan unjustly because Imran Khan was not pro USA.
USA.
Sheikh Hasina is claiming that Donald Lu demanded an island for the American base in Bay of Bengal, and she refused. Again, this is what she has publicly stated. Whether it's true or not, obviously, I
Yeah.
have no way of knowing. But now the lobbies, even the Pakistani and Bangladeshi lobby, are getting split because they think that Donald Trump will be more favorable to them, to the other half, than Biden administration, which engineered the coup and change of regimes in Pakistan and Bangladesh. In fact, a lot of people felt, and again, this is a talk, that George Soros, Peter Omidyar, and the deep state supported Rahul Gandhi and company to try to overthrow Narendra Modi. When
We spoke about this in our previous show. You explained it very well with
well, it
the
is true.
relationship George Soros and yeah,
George Soros openly said in Munich that Narendra Modi should be overthrown. Now, who the
yes,
heck he is to try to tell who should be Prime Minister of India? Prime
yeah,
Minister of India is elected by people of India, and they have done that.
yeah,
But for George Soros to get on podium in Munich and say Narendra Modi should be overthrown, hell, that is a blatant interference by a foreign citizen in internal affair of India.
yeah.
And he has been doing a lot of monkey business. All those organizations that you talk about, weird organizations, Hindus for Human Rights, that is a George Soros organization. They,
And they it comes under the name of Hindus.
Sunita Vishwanathan used to work for George Soros, and then she founded this so-called thing. Same way, the Equality Lab, the caste business. There is no caste in USA. We never ask anybody what is your caste. Caste thing does not exist. So why did they bring it up in California? To defame the Hindu, to defame the Hindu religion. I mean, even in
Well,
India,
now the good thing has happened. Now they have accepted Indian, even the narrative. The previous election results were not that positive, but Maharashtra election showed the narrative of Hinduism has been accepted. Now people are what RSS Sangh has been saying and claiming that Hindus means everybody is all inclusive. We talk about pluralism.
Kunal, take
And
it this way. Let me make, there are other minorities also. Okay. In India, most of the Muslims, they live peacefully. We know that most of them are converted from Hinduism for whatever reason, mostly by force, and to
yeah,
live under peace under the Muslim. Most of the Muslims in India, they live peacefully. It's
yeah,
only a small percentage of jihadis that are creating problem. When I explained them, I said, there are Parsi minorities living in India. Has there been any issue with them? There are Yahudis, Jews that are living in India. Has there been any issue with them? The Buddhists, separate religion, though we consider them as part of the Shavatar, they have been linked. Has there been any problem? Most of the Muslims, they go about daily their activity. There is no problem. It is only a small percentage of jihadis who are creating the problem. And I say, why
absolutely.
can't you live? Everybody can practice their own religions. Muslims can practice their religion, and Hindus are most tolerant people when it comes to religion. If Parsis can practice their religion peacefully, Jews can do it, Muslims can do it too. And most of the Muslims do it. It's only the jihadis that create the problem in relationship.
Correct.
And
And they are the ones who are thinking that because of that, the whole problems
I
all
mean,
over the world is
they
coming.
owe their allegiance to Islam, not to India. They owe their allegiance to Pakistan, not to India. If they live as peaceful Indians, practicing their own religion, go about, there should be no issues. Like we have no issues with Parsis or Jews or anybody else.
No, no, you are absolutely right. I think we need to have to spend almost 1 hour. We have a lot of people attended it on all the platforms. So thank you so much, Dr. Bharat Barai. You have so much wisdom, and I would love to just talk hours and hours with you. But I think it has to come to an end. And I think you and we both are very excited. The good times ahead, and good times ahead for even the global Indians, NRIs, and even India as a country. We are very positive about it. So, any last thoughts before we?
Well, the
Um,
last thought is the relationship between India and USA will get stronger. It would have gotten stronger anyway, but I
Correct.
would say it will get even a turbocharge between because of relationship between Narendra Modi
Modi
and
and
Donald
Trump.
Trump. They will
Yes,
think of each other as friends. They will try to help out, which will be good for Indian Americans. It will also be good for Hindus that we have somebody who will realize that here is a friend that we can go to. I hope the message goes out to Bangladeshi jihadis that if they don't behave, if they don't treat Hindus in Bangladesh as normal citizens, then we will
there is a
try
problem.
to make a
Correct.
movement here in USA. No, I can tell you, we
Yeah.
will move and request and lobby severely with Congress to put sanctions against those jihadis in Bangladesh. I think it
Yeah.
will be in the best interest of Bangladesh to treat them as equal citizens, give them the same rights that they want for everybody else. Then Bangladesh will be peaceful and India will be peaceful.
Just one last question. I think I missed it out because we just could not get it. So this whole I missed out this question completely. So, what's your thoughts about having these three or four Hindus coming in the cabinet? Vivek Ramaswamy is one, Kash Patel is one. Um, uh, of course, our favorite Tulsi Gabbard is going to take a very critical position. So, just quickly, what are your thoughts about these people joining the cabinet, and what do you see? Do you see any difference, or they would just do whatever is good for America?
Okay, Kash Patel, I don't know whether he will probably have some position, but at least he has not been nominated yet.
Okay.
Tulsi Gabbard, there is opposition by
Mhm.
the left wing woke lobby, and they are trying to point out that she has no experience. This is a very sensitive position, director of intelligence. She is quote unquote Russian asset. No, Tulsi Gabbard, I can tell you, I have known Tulsi Gabbard personally for 12
I
years.
know.
Yeah.
I have met twice. We did the fundraiser in Tampa.
I have done fundraiser for her for 12 years.
Yeah.
She has been to my house. We have
Yeah.
one-to-one talking relationship.
Yes. She's
She
good.
is a very smart, very patriotic person, and she will do what is best for United States, and that's what she should do. If
Correct.
she's in that position, she must do what is best for United States, and I'm sure that's what she will do.
Right, right. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And we had a great conversation. Thank you, Dr. Bharat Barai. We'll definitely do one more session very soon, but thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
so much. Namaste.
Namaste. So this was the session. I hope a lot of people attended it, and you would probably grab some good points. A lot of amazing thoughts by Dr. Bharat Barai, and this is the whole purpose of this show, NRIs. And I really want to thank you to everybody who attended. And if you want to share, please share the links. It's on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you find. Share the links. We need more and more people to join. Thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to you the next webinar. Thank you. Have a great day.